Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. I haven't done anything for you to be proud of.
Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you.
So let me pull this up.
Has been weaponized in Western Christianity. Giving has been weaponized in Western Christianity. Sexuality has been weaponized. For example, any woman listening to this can attest in our culture. Don't be no 30, 35-year-old single black woman and go to the family reunion. All the older women are going to do them. They're going to look at you and wonder, why you not married?
Where your man at? Where your kids at?
Like it's a prerequisite for identity and value that if you don't have a man, if you don't have kids, that something about you is broken. Do you understand how dysfunctional these messages are?
Yeah.
And how we super spiritualize these messages. Paul said, but marriage is a necessary distraction. I have many friends that were in ministry at church, and the church has told them, if you're going to be in ministry, you can't be single. We're not going to let you work with the youth ministry if you're single. You can't do this if you're single. And so what people do, they quickly get married thinking that they're fulfilling God's will for their lives, but they are fulfilling man's dogma. You can be single and be used by God. You can be single and have purpose. Being married is not a prerequisite for God's hand on your life. It is not, but we've weaponized it. And then crucify people. Where my camera at?
Right
and
there.
And then crucify people when those same marriages
Fail.
I believe that marriage has been weaponized in Western Christianity. Giving has been weaponized in Western Christianity.
So listen, we're not going to go in on sis too much. This does bring a great conversation. Actually, it opens up a more important conversation than a situationship and her moving to Houston for a man. It just does. The pressure is on women who come up in the church because it is weaponized. Marriage is weaponized. And then we come online to social media where these men weaponize it even more. So the only way that you can come from under marriage being weaponized is, like I said, I'm for this. You have to decenter men. And you have to center yourself. Because if you don't, men will be able to weaponize marriage. The church will be able to weaponize marriage. They could take scripture and feed it back to you and weaponize it against you and make it seem like you're not doing something right. So is it shocking that a 24-year-old girl who was going through a growth spurt when it comes to her personal development, her spiritual journey with God, because I believe she's still on her spiritual journey with God. I feel like when you're really in that walk, your relationship grows over time and you will eventually become very clear on who God really is in your relationship and what that really looks like for you. And I think the question that a lot of women need to start asking, is it God or is it your ego? Is it God or is it your true desires? That's what you have to start asking yourself. But the grace that I'm going to give you is your relationship is going to develop over time. So a 24-year-old, I'm not expecting for her to have it all figured out because her relationship with God is going to develop over time. And it's not going to happen just because she was confused. Like, God told me to move to Houston. I really think it was her ego or it was her desires that truly led her there. But who's to say that that wasn't part of God's plan for her to go so that she can develop that stronger connection with God? We don't know. We don't know that. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, everyone's walk is different, and you can't keep putting these expectations on someone else's spiritual journey or someone else's walk with God. Like you just can't do that. You cannot. Okay, so I'm not here to judge sis. I think it's just part of her journey. I think it was just part of her path. But one thing that I do like about her going viral, it did bring up a more important conversation, like Kirk Franklin saying that I believe that marriage has been weaponized in Western Christianity. And then also it's highlighting how women need to stop centering men so much to the point where you are in a delusional state. You are in a fantasy. You are in a place that really does not exist, and you're being treated horribly by this man that you have centered in your life. And you may need to take a step back and reevaluate some things. And that may be a part of your journey. That may be a part of your walk. So let's get back to it. But I wanted to bring that in too, because I would like your thoughts and your opinions down below. Do you agree with Kirk Franklin?
Why is there so much random outrage? And I really feel sorry for the girl because, like, she's young. She made a stupid decision. She documented her life. We all know a girl who's stupid enough to move for a man. We do, and we still love the girl. Like, oh, well, it happened. My only concern is that I'm scared that she might not get whatever she wants exactly how she wants it or when she wants it. Because, you know, as somebody who grew up in the church, you see a whole lot of women who think that if they stay faithful and dedicated, they'll get their husband, they'll get it. But like, no one is entitled to that. Nobody is guaranteed that. It doesn't always come, you know? So like, I hope that.
And that's what I want to also highlight when it comes to this conversation. Not only does Western Christianity weaponize marriage, it also kind of feeds into this narrative that you're guaranteed a man, a husband. You're not. Actually, when you come here, you're not guaranteed anything. The only thing that's guaranteed is death. And that may be a hard pill to swallow, but it's one that you got to accept because it's just the truth. It's real. It's real. The only thing that's guaranteed in this lifetime is death. That's it. You're not guaranteed anything outside of that. And you may have a level of entitlement that you need to work on within yourself because you're not guaranteed anything. And I'm glad, and I'm speaking from personal experience, I'm glad I grew out of that. Because at one point I was also in that mindset, but I was raised in the church. I was led to believe the closer I got with God, I would get a man. And that's not true. You're not guaranteed anything in this lifetime except for death. Anything in between, the only thing you can do is make the best of it and accept it for what it is and for what it's not and find peace and contentment. But you can't have that level of entitlement. It just does not work like that. It just does not. So I think a lot of women struggle with accepting that and being open enough to understand that nothing in life really is guaranteed except for death. So keep that in mind. And that may be harsh. It may be something that is hard to accept, but it really is the truth. You know, I feel like the church failed women when it came to that. And then I also feel like society failed women when it came to that because they programmed us to believe these things. They created a belief system around it. And then we get to a certain age, especially with Black women and how we're raised and how even within our dating lives, when we're younger, we're told, be about your books, but no one talks about dating and teaching us how to date. They say, get your education. And if you're caught entertaining a boy, what do? Beat you, or you get a whooping, or you're in trouble. So it's like, there's no balance either. And that's another part of this conversation that's so crucial. It goes beyond this woman that went viral. It just does. So keep that also in mind. There's a lot of unprogramming that you're going to have to do as a woman, as you mature, and also as you heal, because you have to heal from these things. You have to heal from these things that misled you to believe a certain narrative or had you believe in a potential outcome. You just do. You have to heal from these things. So some women left the church, took on a spiritual journey. Some women just dropped out of church completely. I don't know what you need to do. I'm going to say do what you feel called to do because that will always be right within yourself. And that's how you're going to find true inner standing and understanding. But unfortunately, a lot of women were failed with that thought process. And it's time for you to heal and grow out of that thought process, because unfortunately, it's not real.